Hi guys, welcome back. Stage 2 now. The after party. This one's the Neon after party. 16.1k in Neo Yoko in the 450 to 570 category. So this is on the Monday, so it's quite an early on race. This is the 10 past 11 one. And I'm actually joined in this. Had my arm twisted to do this one by Ryan Condon, another YouTuber here. So he's in there somewhere. No doubt you'll see him throughout the race. Both me and him are on Discord chatting as we're going through, so that's why I'm voiceovering on this, because you won't be able to hear Ryan, you just be able to hear me, so it's a bit awkward when it's a one-way conversation. So majority of these after party ones means it's going to be relatively flat or rolling, and then kind of finishes with a hilltop finish. So tactics on this is try and hang on for as long as possible, and then see what I've got left for the hill at the end. I am a little bit tired because after yesterday's the chase race I did, because it was pretty intense, and it was an old school B category one, and I think the guy who was off the front was doing like 5 watts per kilo, which was a little bit more than I expected, but when checking, he had a racing score in the 700s, so no wonder. So at this point, me and Ryan are just chatting through tactics and stuff like that, just more wondering how the race is going to go than tactics, because you never know in these community races who turns up on what day. It could be crazy fast, and on that, Ryan spots someone he knows on there, someone that he's raced with in the past. He's telling me a little bit about him, so no doubt if he has videoed this and sends it later on the week, he'll give out an update. And off we go. So weirdly, although we've just seen flame socks on someone, this actually set off relatively sensible as a Zwift race would, even though kind of at times hitting 5 watts per kilo, but I've started some of these in the 6 or 7 watts per kilo for the first 30 seconds. So as the group forms then, you see that we've got 36 riders, which actually for the first day that this event's live is relatively low. I've done these community races on the first day before and had over 100 riders, but I suppose also the higher the categories you go up, the smaller the packs become, so I suppose you just got to get used to that. I did see that there was 80 people already at this time of day had signed up for the 10 past 6 one later on that evening, so no doubt I've probably picked the right one to go into. So what's nice to see here is quite a few squirrels popping out the back of people's jerseys. So that was from the latest Zwift update. The more of a riding streak you have, the bigger the squirrel. So I think a little bit of it pokes out after 5 weeks or something like that. But I think you get the one that everyone's seeing now with the little bit of animation is the 24-week one. I think at the end of this, I was on, I can't remember if it was 34 or 37 week streak. So I'm going to try and see if I can push that to 52 weeks. Hopefully by that point Zwift will have an update to give you something more for 52 weeks. Right now, this is relatively tame. It's kind of sitting at about 40k an hour, but on the flat here, it is. It's not. No one's pushing it or anything like that yet, so it's a little bit of a strange one, where we kind of wondering if something's going to happen anytime soon. And as we go through that banner there, the pace did go up a little bit, but nothing too drastic. So we kind of go around this corner. There's a little bit of a 2. Not sure if it goes up to 3% climb incline. I would say more incline than climb, but it's quite a fast draftable incline, so you're up it relatively quick. If you look up at the parkour, the top right corner, then you'll notice that the course itself is relatively flat. It has 4 banners that you can go through to get various power-ups. In this case, you see I've got the drafting bonus in this one. I believe aero and feather are the other ones as well. and you'll get 4 chances of that now. It's I normally save mine until I need them, but in this case, on that little bit of an incline there, I just thought, well, I might as well use it there just to kind of get rid of it. And then at the end, there's obviously that big long drag up to the rooftop KOM. So Ryan's kind of stuck with this group as well. We're just kind of chatting as we're going along, just trying to kind of weigh up what's going on in the race, but there's not a great lot going on at the minute. We're just kind of sticking together, and everyone's being quite tame, and I don't like that, because is this full of climbers where they're going to keep it tame to the bottom of the climb and then punch up the top as fast as they can? Or is it just everyone's just looking at everyone, and people are not really sure what's going on? Around about now, someone kind of pushes off the front and does a little bit of a dig, a little bit of an attack off the front. But with the size of the group we've got and the terrain that we're on, I just don't panic. I just stay in the group, and what will kind of happen is if someone chases them down, it'll string the group out, but we'll still get the draft, and it can still kind of pull us along. So me and Ryan are chatting. I'm telling him not to chase anything down as well, because you kind of want to save all of that energy that you've got and stay in the draft and let anyone else do the work until you get to the climb at the end. And then he's kind of joined by someone else. I think if you get 3 or 4 in that group, then it needs to start looking a little bit more dangerous. Start pushing yourself to the front and thinking about bridging over, because again, on these flat courses, a solo rider will be difficult to get away, but if you get a decent pack and you start working through, then that can be a completely different ball game. So you can just see around the bend there now, there is actually 3 of them. So this could be a race move that could stick potentially. So I do move myself nearer to the front, some reason, because I record on my phone. I think it maybe thought I said Siri, so the screen lit up for a second there, and not really sure what was going on. Does look like quite a nice border though, so might stick a border around my videos in the future. But yeah, they've still got a couple of second gap up ahead, but there seems to be people bridging all the time. There's another guy just bridged up there, and there's another guy going to bridge, and systematically by them doing that, it is kind of dragging everyone else back up there. I do just get close to the front, just on the off chance that I have to bridge myself, and I might put a bit of an effort in, just to kind of make sure I stay up with that front group. So that group there's 4 or 5 now, so that's a move that you need to kind of chase down. So make sure I get my backside into gear and push on the pedals, and Ryan comes with me, and then Ryan leads me out back up there so I can get some draft off him. Thanks very much, Ryan. And then he swings over and gives me no draft, so thanks, Ryan. But as you can see, that was a kind of a race winning move, I would say, that needed to be chased down. Because if those guys got away, it would be on a flat course quite difficult to pull them back if everyone's attacking each other. So that kind of continued for a couple of Ks with everyone just trying to chase down the people off the front. And then before you know it, we're back together and everyone's just kind of sitting up and getting some rest again. So once we're back together, we just kind of try and get our heart rate down as best as possible. Both me and Ryan are kind of paired together. Then we're just going to move to the back, just get the most out of the draft. I think Ryan has his thing on which tells him how much draft he has. I don't have that app, so I'm not really fussed or sure. I'm just happy at times just get a bit of extra respite from where I am. But I'm not really pushing much onto the pedals. I've still got a over 300 watt average for the first kind of 9 minutes, which is high, but I take rest where I can, and I'm going to try my best to get the lowest watts per kilo that I can get for the end of this race. But it is quite a quick pace, so I think we're averaging about 40k an hour all the way so far. This course is quite a twisty course, so anyone who's kind of got the steering on either Zwift Ride or the play controllers, it's quite a good course. Unless you're in the dead centre in the centre of the pack, it's a good thing to use, just to use the steering as you go around each corner, because it'll just position yourself a lot better, and without kind of expunging any extra energy, you'll notice quite quickly that you drift further up the pack. So it's one for those that haven't got Zwift Play controllers. It is a good purchase. I did have the Play controllers first and then bought a Zwift Ride, so I can contest that they are phenomenal either on the ride or with the Play controllers. And like I say, this twisty bit here, I'm just using them as we're going through, just to kind of keep drifting left and right. And it's because I think I'm right in the middle of the pack, it hasn't really paid off dividends as much, but as we get further up, it does. Because I noticed at this point, obviously with a slight decline, the pace just kind of went up, and people went on the front to maybe try and stretch us out a little bit and to drop some people off the back. I don't think many had dropped off the back at this point. I think maybe 2, but the pace was quite high. I think for this part we were just below 50k an hour for some parts of it, and I don't think many people have been maintaining that, but it is a little bit of a dip, and then you're straight up into that 2%er again. Always a little bit worrying when you're on a slight incline. You start seeing things like flame socks because there's someone trying to put a dig in or attack in. So they're good for the novelty, but they do give away quite a bit. I am hoping to get the lightning socks at some point, because I think they look cool, but I also like to sprint, so they might give a little bit away. So unlike stage 1 then, so there's no portal on this one. I think that caused a little bit of controversy with either I think day one it was a little bit hit and miss whether you stopped at the portal or you continued for the couple of kilometres onwards. I think some issues with recording people's heart rates for the leaders of the race. There was quite a few bugs, I would say, on stage one, but stage two just a summit finish, so no need to muck about bouncing in and out of portals and stuff for this one. So just a old school classic flat race with a punchy climb at the end. I think while the race is pretty neutralised, I'll take the time to kind of give a little bit of a shout out to Ryan on this. He has moved up quite successfully from C. I think his aim was to win a C race, and he did win a race, but it was in the range of classified as a B race, so well done on that. And now he is forever locked in to the Bs, even though it still stays pace group C, which I still think they need to get rid of that pace group malarkey on our Zwift power now that we've moved to Zwift Racing Score, and we just go off Zwift Racing Score from now on. I think you just have one metric, stick to it, and then we haven't got to muck about with anything else. But back on to Ryan. Yeah, he won a race last week and is now a fully fledged B rider, I'd say. Although he'll contest, he wants to go back down, feels a bit more comfortable, but you've just got to enjoy being uncomfortable in this case. The races don't get any easier, you just get faster, so you just got to get used to that. So like I said before, this is quite a windy course, and this is where things like the play controllers really come in to effect. And you see everyone's popping the drafts and the thingies now for this little 3%er. It's not much, but they're just trying to break up as much of the race as possible. And as you can see, we have strung out quite a bit now, so I've got to put a little bit of effort in. There's Ryan just up ahead of me in the blue jersey with his little squirrel hanging out to me going past him. But the race is strung out quite a bit, so just want to get up there. You can't bong it at the back for too long, because if you do, an attack goes off, you're not in a position to cover it off. And at the minute, there's 3 riders off the front, and we are relatively close to the. With only 6.4k to go, we're relatively close to the bottom of the final climb. So a few more have bridged over, so there's 5 or 6 of them now, but that is kind of strung out a little bit, so I'm not panicking. I'm not getting out the saddle and sprinting over to them or anything yet, and I'm saying the same to Ryan, because we are a little bit close to the bottom of the climb, so you don't want to expunge anything if you don't have to. So let the pack bring them back, right? Always stick by that, right? Don't be the hero and go to the front and just smash yourself, because there might not be enough time for recovery. So we're just about to come to the bottom of another incline, right? The one we did before with the little 2%er, and that's a perfect time just to gradually, right, not intensely, but gradually just increase the watts, and that'll slowly bring the group back, and it'll actually bring everyone else with you as well, right? You see someone there pushing through hard, right? It looks like a move, all right, but don't follow it, because you're just going to use energy that you don't need to use, right? We are bringing them back, right? Incrementally, that's what we're bringing them back, right? Step by step. It's not anything silly. And then as you get over this crest, there's a little bit of a downhill, and you can probably just put a little bit of power in on the downhill, like I just did there, and then I'm just cruising back onto them, and I've expunged next to no extra energy. Right? I'm still expunging energy, but nothing additional on top of what I had already planned to do. And some of them off at the front there, they'll be back in recovery mode now, because obviously they were trying to break away. And this is probably would have been a great time for someone to go straight over the top and attack, but we are really close to the bottom of the climb, and because this is the first time I've done this race, then I think it's a little bit of, everyone's probably got a bit of the fear of the unknown. So we're going to come up to a ramp now, and I kind of made the decision early on that I was going to make sure I was at the very front for the ramp, because if there was ever going to be an attack, then now would have been a really good time. So I just get out the saddle, alright, and I'm not sprinting, I am just putting all my weight down on the pedals, just to make sure that I drift to the front. Lo and behold, look who's at the front, Mr. Ryan Condon. Just absolutely listening to everything I've just said. Just get to the front, because this is where the attack could be. But actually, right, the attack looked like it was from me. But I wasn't. I was just getting over to the top of the climb. I'm a heavier rider, so I need to be at the front on these climbs. And then as we crest this, we're going to start the final climb. It's quite an incremental climb, right? I think that's the word of the day for this race, isn't it? Incremental. It's an incremental climb. There's a ramp, there's a flat, there's a ramp, there's a flat, there's a ramp, there's a flat, all the way pretty much. So it's all about making sure that you stick with the ramps and you still power on the flats, right? Because that's where you can then be dropped. So you'll notice a bit of a skip in a second from 14.7 to 15.1. Right, at that point, I screen record on my phone. If was anyone unsure what was going on, I screen record the races on my phone, and I was receiving a phone call, even though it was on Do Not Disturb. I was wondered if it was anything important, but it turns out it was a spam phone call. So the spam phone call almost ruined my race for me, or ruined the recording. So as you'll see up there, then you see the screen, it is just ramp, flat, ramp, flat, ramp, flat. And it's all about using the efforts on the ramps just to keep with the group, and then there's no time for recovery on the flat, so you've got to continue to power. So this is just 1.6k from now. It is just, you've just got to keep on it, right? Don't think about rest at all, just think about on it and then on it more. So with that, we've still got, with 1.5k to go, quite a large group. So I need to move myself closer to the front, because I just suspect that there's quite a few climbers in this, and I just want to be in a really, really good position. We do start to split up a little bit in ones and twos, and that's kind of the sign that there's some decent climbers in this group that have been saving some matches for this part here. I try not to go into the red, but it's difficult. My threshold heart rate's like 185, so I'm pretty much in there already. And even my avatar's out the saddle sprinting just to try and get back on. But I'm trying to stick with this front 4 or 5 because I know like the longer climbs later on is probably that's going to be the default for me, where I'm start going backwards. But it is what it is. Like, I'm a bigger rider. I've got to get better at going up hills. We are really strung out as a pack now. I don't think there's many side-by-sides or many people in the draft, and I'm unsure where Ryan is at this point. I'm pretty much just focusing on myself and those in front, just to try and make sure that I can hang with them as best as I can. And as you can see, I'm doing 8 watts per kilo, 8.5 watts per kilo, trying to stick with them. I still haven't used my draft yet. 600 meters to go, and I'm just going to try and use that in the last couple of 100 meters if I can, if I'm in a good enough place to kind of do a sprint. But I'm sat at 8th. I think this is a fast race, and a hilltop finish doesn't suit me, so if I was to stop the race right now, I'd be happy. But we're still 400 meters to go. Everyone's kind of looking around. Someone disappeared off the screen there, so that was a very unlucky disconnection if that was one. And look how far strung out we are from top to bottom, and it's just a pretty intense climb this for a finish. It's not ridiculously steep. It's just ramp after ramp after ramp, and that's kind of what does the legs in a little bit. And as you can see, 150 meters ago, I popped my drafting boost, and I tried to get on, but sprinting uphill's not one for me. So I get back down, and I'm still pushing on the pedals, and then I just cruise across the line, and I think I've got 7th. And that was good enough for me. I was more than happy with that. 304 watt average for the race, but 3.3 watts. So I was the lowest in the top 10 for average watts per kilo throughout, and that's kind of what I'm going for. I want efficiency. I want to sit in the pack and make sure that I can try and save as many watts as I can for a finish. In this case, the finish was uphill, so it wasn't really suited to me. I did though have a look on Zwift Power, and someone up ahead didn't have heart rate monitor on, so I ended up with a 6th place. So pretty pleased with that. Ryan just a little bit further back, but cracking effort and sticking with the E group till the end. Well guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you watch this early in the week and then you've got a little bit of a recce, but come back for more next week.